people wonder, what does Islam say about dogs? The answer is not just yes or no. Islam gives both guidance and limits. It encourages kindness, but also cares about purity and purpose. Are dogs impure? In Islamic teachings, dogs are considered impure in certain ways, especially when it comes to their saliva. According to many scholars, if a dog licks a container, you need to wash that container very carefully, 7 times, with earth or soil once among them. The idea is not to hate dogs, but to be careful about ritual purity. Different schools of Islamic law interpret impurity in different ways. Some say that only the saliva is impure. Others say more parts of the dog are ritually impure. But in all these rulings, the goal is to help Muslims maintain spiritual cleanliness. When is it permitted to keep a dog? Islam does allow keeping a dog, but mainly for useful reasons, not just for fun. There are 3 big exceptions that many scholars agree on. 1. Hunting. It's okay to have a dog to help hunt because this is a traditional practical use. 2. Guarding livestock or crops. On a farm or ranch, a dog can help protect animals or plants. 3. Guarding property. In certain cases, it's allowed to keep a dog to guard a house or land, especially if there is a real need. If someone tries to keep a dog just as a pet in the city with no real purpose, many scholars warn against it. They say that such a habit may lead to a daily loss of reward or good deeds, because the Prophet, peace be upon him, said there is a spiritual cost if the dog is kept without a valid reason. The angels do not enter a house in which there is a dog or an image. This hadith is understood by many scholars to mean that angels of mercy may avoid a house with a dog, especially when the dog is not kept for a needed purpose. Some scholars explain that if a dog is kept for a valid reason, like guarding, and if it's kept outside or in one part of the property, then this concern about angels may be less strict. In other words, the dog's role and how it lives with people matters. In cases where someone must keep a dog in their home, for protection for example, some jurists advise that the dog stays in a separate room, so that other areas like the place of prayer remain pure, and so the angels can still use those areas. Kindness to dogs matters. Even though there are rules, Islam strongly teaches kindness to animals, including dogs. If someone keeps a dog for a valid reason, they must treat it well. Give it food and water, provide shelter so it doesn't suffer, and look after its health. There's a famous story that shows just how important this kindness is. A man saw a thirsty dog and he gave it water. Because of his mercy to the dog, Allah forgave him. This story teaches that caring for an animal is rewarded, even if that animal is considered impure in some legal rulings. Why do these rules exist? There are several reasons behind the Islamic rules on dogs. 1. Cleanliness. Islam values purity. The rules about dog saliva and how to clean it help Muslims maintain ritual cleanliness. 2. Purpose. Dogs are not there just for fun in Islam. Their use must be practical, guarding, hunting, or protecting. 3. Balance and respect. While dogs have limits in how they are treated in a Muslim home, they are still part of Allah's creation. Islam tells us that animals deserve respect, even when they are not clean in the legal sense. 4. Spiritual awareness. The warning about angels is a reminder that Muslims should think about their spiritual space. Keeping a dog is not just a physical matter, it has spiritual implications. Different opinions among scholars. Not all Muslims agree on every rule about dogs, and that's okay. There are different schools of thought. Some say only the saliva of a dog is impure, and not the entire dog. Others say more strongly that a dog's body has impurity, depending on the school. And some modern scholars talk about new needs today, like service dogs, and interpret the rules in a way that balances tradition and reality. Because of this diversity, it's smart for a young Muslim to ask a trusted scholar or imam if they are unsure what applies to their situation. Don't worry about dogs just because of the rule about impurity. Having a rule about ritual impurity doesn't mean Islam hates dogs. It's simply about how we keep clean. If someone is thinking of getting a dog, they should really think about why they want it. Is it because they need it for something useful, like guarding or helping with work? Or just because they think it's cute and fun? Purpose matters. At the same time, being kind to a dog is very important. Even if you are allowed to keep a dog only for work, that doesn't give you the right to mistreat it. Islam teaches mercy toward all creatures, including dogs. When you do touch a dog, especially if its mouth or saliva is involved, you should be careful and clean properly afterward. The impurity of a dog's saliva is well known in the Islamic tradition, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, gave clear guidance on how to purify things. And if you ever feel confused or don't know what the right thing to do is, don't hesitate. Seek knowledge. Ask someone who knows Islamic teachings well, whether it's a teacher, an imam, or a knowledgeable person, so you can act in a way that's both responsible and faithful. Islam's view on dogs is balanced. There are limits, especially because of concerns about purity, but there is also space for compassion and use when it's useful. Dogs are not haram in every case, but Muslims should be thoughtful and responsible if they do decide to keep one. The rules teach us about sacrifice, discipline, and respect, not just for other people, but for all living things. Ooh.